That's just fine.
Yeah, okay. So, starter, let's try 1C. What would that be?
Maybe 14m at 7.
Well done. How about this one, A?
Um, x squared minus 2x.
How about next one?
Um, it would be 8x squared minus 20xy.
Well done.
Right, it's Tony here. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, good, yeah, thanks.
Good stuff, mate. Just wanted to let you know I've paid you for this week and next week. I'm actually out in Detroit next week for work, so I've also made sure you've been paid for next week already, my friend. Okay?
Alright, thanks, Tony. Enjoy Detroit.
Yeah, I'll try if I can, mate. Sorry for the intrusion. Take care. All the best.
Alright, bye.
See you now. Bye bye.
And James, try D, very last one.
I'm not sure how to do it when it's got two different brackets.
Okay, so we'll go back up to... No, we'll stick with D. No, we better start with the one above it, the expand and simplify. So you know how the one above this, the 4x, you multiply by the first and by the second?
Um,
The one that you just did before
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So it's similar to that. So the first thing you do is x times by x plus 5. And then the next thing you do is 3 times by x plus 5. So it's both of those things times x plus 5. And so what would you get there?
So you have to do x squared
Mm-hmm.
plus 5x, and then 3x add 15.
And can you simplify that?
4x squared.
You can only add x squared to x squared. So that's going to stay the same.
X squared add. Oh, yeah, correct. Add 8x,
Yeah,
add 15.
that's it. So the only thing you can do there are the two x's in the middle. Yeah, so it's basically, you can see the first term. If I just do this. So you have x times x plus 5 and 3 times x plus 5. And they're both times x plus 5 because they're in a bracket. So using that, try to do A on the next one.
Um, x squared.
So what would be the first step? Like even before that. So don't even multiply x by x. How would you write the question?
X, and
Yeah.
then x plus 6, add x, and then x plus 10.
So the way you do it is x. So x is in the first bracket. You're multiplying that by the second bracket. And so it's x times x plus 10. And then what would be the next thing?
I'm not sure what to add for the next one.
It would be then 6 times x plus 10. So it's times the second bracket twice. First times second bracket, and then second times second bracket.
Yeah, but
So
yeah.
let's just... so how about part B? What would be the first step for that?
You need to do it out again. So x, and
Yeah.
x plus 6,
Second bracket.
x minus 3,
Yeah.
plus 6, and then x plus 6. No. I'm not sure what you do for that next bit.
So 6 is in the first bracket, so it's 6 times the second one.
6 times minus 3.
X minus 3. Yeah. Okay, so you can see how it's first term times second bracket, second term times second bracket. 6 isn't in the same bracket as x minus 3. So it's 6 times x minus 3. What would be the first step for part C?
X minus 4.
No, you keep doing it.
Oh, x plus 10
Yeah.
minus 4. And then it would be minus 4 again, would it?
So what is minus 4? So first you did x times x plus 10. Second thing you would do?
X minus x minus 4.
It would be minus 4 times something.
Minus 4 times 10.
Minus 4 times x plus 10. So they're always times the second bracket. So first times second bracket, second times second bracket. And part D.
X and x minus 4.
Yeah.
Minus 3. X minus 4.
Well done. That's it. And okay, so let's finish D.
So it would be x at the start.
So you just expand it as normal.
Oh, x squared minus 4.
Well done.
And minus 3x minus 12.
And a minus times a minus.
Oh, it's add, so plus 12.
Yeah. And simplify.
Sorry?
Can you simplify that?
X squared minus 7x at 12.
Brilliant. That's it. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay, so you can see with the single bracket. So you're good with single brackets where it's just outside times first, outside times second. With double brackets, it's just first times second bracket and second times second bracket. So it's the same idea.
Yeah.
Okay, fill in the empty box.
5,
Mm-hmm.
7, 9, 3,
Yeah,
2, and 4.
well done. So you're good at those. Okay, let's try these ones. A.
7
Mm-hmm.
minus 9.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
So what times what will give you 1 over 9?
1 times 9.
Well, you know how you multiply fractions. It's just top times top, bottom times bottom. So what times what will give you 9?
3 times 3.
Yeah, and so 3 will be on the bottom. And what times what will give you 1?
1 times 1.
Yeah, and so it's 1 over 3. So it's basically, that's the same as the square root of 1 over the square root of 9. So you just square root the top one, square root the bottom one.
Yeah.
How about D? How does that work?
Just do 6 times 9.
6 times root 9.
Oh, so it's 6 times 3,
Mm-hmm.
which is 18.
Well done. Yeah. So 6a is short for 6 times a. 6 root 9 is short for 6 times root 9. Part E.
40.
Well done. F.
Wouldn't that just be the same?
Well, what is 100 times 4?
Oh, 400.
And what squared gives you 400, or square root of 400 is what?
20.
Yeah, and so the purpose of E and F is to show you that you can't multiply a normal number by a square root number. It's not the same thing. Okay, how about G?
Um,
And you can use what you learned in C to do G.
It'd be 2 over 2 would be one of them.
Well, what squared will give you 25?
5 is 5.
Yeah, so 5 would be on the top. And what's in the bottom?
2.
That's it. How about H?
H is 5 divided by 4.
Yeah, and G and H are to show you that you can't divide a square root by a normal number. You get two different answers. How about part I?
Um, 10.
And J?
Four.
Well done. And so I and J is to show you that you can't add a square root to a normal number. So you can't mix a normal number with a square root number. We can skip the last two there. We don't need those. Any questions about anything there?
No.
Okay, so if you need to square root a fraction, just square root the top, square root the bottom. You can't add, subtract, multiply, or divide a square root number by a non-square root number. A square root number is called a surd. If you see that word surd, it just means a square root number. Okay,
Yeah.
what do we get here?
Um, 2.
Next. Say it again, sorry.
10.
And 10 is the same as the square root of?
100.
That's it. What do you notice about 4, 25, and 100?
The old square numbers.
And how can you get 100 from 4 and 25?
You times 4 by 25.
Yeah, and so what we saw there is root 4. So 4 times 25 is 100. Root 4 times root 5 equals root 100. We need to check if this is true for everything. So basically the square root of something times by the square root of something else. Can you just multiply the two numbers together and put a square root around them? 4 times 25, put a square root around it. I have a long way of showing it. I want to try a short way that I've never tried before. Root A times root B equals A times B, and you square root it. Multiply both sides by root A times root B. What do you get on the left side?
We just get 8 times. You get the square root of 8 times.
You get square root of A
times square root of B.
Okay, so square root of A times square root of B, and then times square root of A times square root of b. On the right side?
Would be square root of a times square root of b times square root of a times square root of b.
Well, I don't know. So it's basically this square root of ab, which it was, and then times root a times root b. We can rearrange the left side. So like 2 times 3 times 4 is 4 times 3 times 2. So I can put the root a's together. I can put the root b's together. Any idea what this will simplify down to on the left? Root a times root a.
Root a is times 2.
What is the short way of writing? That would be root a plus root a. What's a short way of writing something times itself?
Squared.
Squared. And so the square root of a squared times, short way of writing the next bit?
So this is the square root of b squared.
Yeah, so square root of b squared. What do you know about a square root squared?
It comes back to the original number.
That's it. And so if you have a, you square root it and then you square it, it goes back to being just a. So what is the square root of b squared?
B.
And so that's a times b, or ab for short. I forget how I was going to show this bit on the right side. The square root of ab. I'll think about it in a minute. I think. Yes. So what is each of these?
I'll do 3 squared, which is 9, and then the square root of 9 is 3. So it's just going to be 3, 8, 5, and then a.
Yeah. What is this one?
Would this be 2 again?
No. 2 squared times 2 squared times 2 squared.
Oh, 2 to the power of 6.
Yeah. And so what's the quick way of going from having 2 and 3 to just 6?
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
What is the quick way of going from having 2 and 3 to just 6?
you. You just add the powers.
Or if you go back to the original, so if you ignore the middle bit, how can you go straight from the question to the answer?
You just... Oh, you multiply the powers
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah, so the way you power to a power, you multiply. How about these two?
That's 25. Half of 25 times half of 24.
No. What's the square root of 25?
5.
And so root 25 times root 25?
25.
Yeah. And that's because it's basically a square root squared.
Yeah.
How about the one underneath it?
I'm not sure what to
How do you multiply indices?
just do it how you normally would.
How did we do this one here? 2 squared times 2 squared times 2 squared.
Oh, you add all of the powers, or you multiply all of the powers.
Yeah, so the long way would be adding them. And so for this one, we have to do it the long way.
Would it just be 25 to the power of 1 then?
Yeah. And what do you know about 25 to the power of 1?
25 to the power of 1 is just 25.
Yeah. And so basically we got the same answer twice. Something times itself is equal to something else times itself. And that means these two must be the same as each other.
Yeah.
And so basically the square root of a number is the same as that number to the power of a half.
Yeah.
So the square root of a is the same as? A to the power of?
1.
No.
Oh, a to the power of half.
Yeah. And so
Two.
how would you rewrite this one? Root a squared is the same as what squared?
Because wait, would it just be so it wouldn't be half?
Yeah, so a to the half. And how do we do a to the half squared? What do you get?
We got to would you times it by 2.
You multiply them, yeah. And what do you get?
A to the power of 1.
Yeah, and that's the same as?
A.
That's it. And so this proves that squared and square root are the inverse of each other, the opposite of each other, or the reverse of each other. And so how else can you write root a times root b?
Just something to the power of 1.
Well, what is the square root of a squared?
Sorry?
What is the square root of a squared?
A to the power of half.
So what happens? So you have a square root it. What do you have?
Wait, what? I don't really understand this.
So this one up here, what was the square root of a squared? What did we get for that?
A half to the power of 2.
What was our final answer?
A.
Yeah, basically squared and square root cancel each other out.
So it's just AB.
Yes, correct. Well done. So that's just AB. What would you get for this one up the top? A times B all squared. So that's the same as A times B times A times B.
A to the power of 2 times A to B to the power of 2.
Yeah. And what would you get here? The square root of A times B squared.
A times B.
Yeah, I'll just write as AB for short. So on the previous page, you told me that root A squared times root B squared is AB. Root A times B squared is AB. And so that means these two must be the same as each other. So if you have root A squared, square root of that, times root B squared, square root of that, you can just multiply the two numbers and put a square root around it. And let me just fix this. So if you were to rewrite this thing above, but sub in P for A squared and Q for B squared, what would you get?
P times b.
And don't forget the square root. So root p times,
Root q.
yeah, is equal to?
A square root a times q squared.
Square root of, well, that's the same as a times b. So basically, square root of pq. And so basically, we proved that if you have to multiply two square root numbers, just multiply the two normal numbers and put a square root around them. Any questions there? So we'll practice that. Basically, if I just go way back, this one here. So root 4 times root 25. You just do 4 times 25 is 100 and put a square root around it. So you can bring the two together. Okay, match these up.
The first one's just going to match the square root of 6.
Well done.
The next one's going to be square root of 12.
Mm-hmm.
Next one's going to be square root of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then sat 6.
Say it again.
6.
Yeah.
And the next 10.
Yeah, well done. Okay, got it. Okay, what is the missing number for each?
5.
Yeah, I think you're fine for those. Okay, let's try these. Start with question 1. Say it again, sorry?
You're doing 2 times the square root of 7.
So you can't do normal number times normal number. So if I was to write it the long way, it would be 2 times root 7 times 4 times root 3. We can't multiply a normal number by a square root number. We can rearrange it though. So it's the same question, just written a different way. How would you do that? Or what would be the answer?
2 times 4 is 8.
Mm-hmm.
8 times square root of 7. Or is that 7 squared?
Well, you can't do a normal number times a square root number. So what would be the two square root numbers times each other?
It'd be 21 times 9.
How did you get 9?
It's 3 squared.
This is square root, so it's just square root of 21. Root 7 times root 3 is root 21.
I don't know what the square root of 3 is.
It has no integer square root, so we just leave it as root 3. We just leave that as root 7. And so this is 8 times root 21. We can't times a whole number by a surd, and so what's the short way of writing our answer?
8 times 21 over...
No. Short way would just be 8 root 21. So if you had 8 times a, short way of writing that would be 8a. 7 times b, short way of writing is 7b. Yeah, so these ones, it's normal number times normal number, square root times square root. 2 times 4 is 8. 7 times 3 is 21. Put a square root sign around it and bring the two together, right at the short way. Try question 2.
So you start off with 2 times 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then
So what is 2 times 3?
6.
Yeah, go on.
And then you have to times that by square root of 5 times square root of 2.
And what do you get?
5. Is it 5?
What is the square root of 5 times square root of 2?
There is no square root of 5. It's just 5.
No. What was the square root of 7 times the square root of 3?
21.
Yeah, square root of 21.
It's, square root of 10.
Yeah. And so we have normal number times surd number. We can't do that. And so what's the short way of writing our answer?
Six times. That's just the normal way, isn't it?
The short way is just 6 root 10 without the time sign.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like
6 root 10.
6 times x, 6x, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try question 4, the last one.
So I'll do 5 times 7,
Mm-hmm.
which is 35, I think. Is it?
Yep.
And you've got the square root, and then you've got square root of 6. So the answer is 35 to square root of 6.
Yep, 35 root 6. And try question 3. There's a little trick in it.
2 times 3 is 6.
Mm-hmm.
Square root of 9.
Yeah.
Root of 9.
What
But
is...
then you can actually get the root of 9, so it's 3, so the answer is 18.
Well done. Okay, any questions there? Any questions about that?
No.
Okay, and yeah, you got it, especially with the last one. Normal number times normal number, root times root.
Yeah.
Okay, single brackets. Let's try it. First one.
I have no idea how to start this.
So just think about the normal way. So outside times first, outside times second.
So 3 times 2 is 6.
Okay, so root 3 times root 2.
Root of 3 times root of 2.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
Just 6, because you do 3 times 2, don't you?
Well, 3 times 2 is 6. Root 2 times root 3?
Oh, 9.
No.
I don't know what the square root of 2 is, or 3.
You don't need to. There is no integer square root. 3 times 2 is 6. So what is root 3 times root 2?
Root 6.
Root 6, yeah. And how about the first bit?
Is it just root 5?
It's root 5 times root 3.
Root 8?
You're thinking of plus. Expanding brackets is multiplying.
Oh. Root 15.
Yep, that's it. Outside times first, outside times second. Okay. Question 2.
Um. Because you root 2 minus 11. This is just. Sorry?
Always do outside times first.
So. That's. Root 14.
Yeah. And then how do you do the second one?
The second one is. You got to do root 2 minus 11.
It's root 2 times minus 11.
So wouldn't it just be that?
Yes, you can't make that any. You can't multiply a square root by a normal number, and so how would you write it the short way?
Minus 7. Minus 11. Root 7.
Not root 7. What was it times by?
2. Root 2.
Yeah, that's it. So root 2 times 11. You can swap those two around, and you can say that's 11 times root 2, and the short way 11 root 2. And how about the last one?
I've not even had to start that 'cause it's such a big question.
It's identical to these ones. Normal number times normal number, root times root.
So, do you have like
Say it again, sorry?
root of 5 times root of 2?
Yeah, what's that?
Root 10.
And what about the 2 and the 3?
You just multiply the 2 and the 3.
Yep.
Which is 6.
Yep. 2 times 3 is 6. Root 5 times root 2 is root 10. 6 root 10. And second part.
So, got to do 2 times the root of 3.
Well, 2 root 5 times root 3. And root 3 is the same as 1 root 3.
Oh, root 6.
No, that would be if it was root 2 times root 3. This is 2 root 5 times 1 root 3.
So, wait, what?
So it's number times number, root times root. 2 root 5 times 1 root 3. So it's normal number times normal number. What's the normal number in each?
2 and 1.
Yeah. Multiply them, what you get?
2.
That's it. And root times root?
Root times root. Root 15.
Well done. That's it. So the trick for doing times the square root of something is to just write it as 1 root that. It's like x and 1x are the same thing. Any questions there?
No.
Okay. What do you get for each of these?
Um, 36. Or root 36.
And what is root 36?
6.
Yeah.
Which is going to be 5, and then 3, and then b.
Well done. So any square root times itself is just that thing. Okay, let's try these.
This be 3 add 6 root or root 6.
Root 6, that's it. Next one.
55 root or root 55 minus 5.
Well done. Third one.
Two. Well, no, it's root 10. And then add 3 root 2. 2 root.
So you're doing that.
I don't know what to do next.
Root 2 is the same as 1 root 2. That might help. 1 root 2 times 3 root 2.
So root 2 times root 2 is just 2.
Yep.
And then we need to do 1 times 3, which is 3.
That's it. And then what?
Add.
Multiply.
Oh, but that's 3.
So 1 times 3 is 3. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. And so 3 times 2?
3 times 2 is 6.
Yeah. And so the long way of seeing that would be 1 times 3 times root 2 times root 2. 1 times 3 is 3. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. And so you've got 3 times 2. Okay, and then this beast, top right.
So do you have to do that whole big equation now?
Just same as always. Outside times first. Outside times second.
Oh, if we went on that, but so start off with 3 times 5, just to get the numbers out of the way, which is 15. Then root 7 and root 11 is root 18. No, sorry, root 77.
That's it.
and then add 49.
So 3 times root 7 times root 7.
Would it be root 7, so that's 64?
So it's 3 times root 7 times root 7. What is root 7 times root 7?
It's just 49.
It's root 49.
Yeah, oh, so it's a 7.
Yeah. And so what do you get? Say it again.
Sorry?
So what do you get there?
Add 64.
Where are you getting 64?
15 add 49. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's add 15. Sorry.
So 15 root 77 plus what? It was 3 times root 7 times root 7.
Plus 7.
So 3 root 49, which was 7. So 3 times 7.
I called it 21.
Yeah. 3 times root 7 is 3 times 7, which is 21.
Yeah.
And you've got a square root number and a non-square root number, so you can't make that any simpler. It'd be like 15x plus 21. Any questions there?
No.
I think what might make it easier for you is a square root times itself is just that number. So root 7 times root 7 is 7. Maybe that would make it. 'Cause then you could skip some lines. Okay, this difficult thing. How do we go about this top one?
Sorry.
How do we do the first one? Blue.
Root 2.
Mm-hmm.
So start by that root 2. So that'd be just root 2. And then you've got to do 9 times minus 1, which is minus 9. Oh, wait.
Where did you get?
Times 3 as well, haven't you?
So much simpler. How did we do these double brackets? What's the first step?
Oh, you multiply them by each other.
Yeah, so first times second bracket, second times second bracket. Just like with the single brackets. First times second bracket, second times second bracket. Okay, so root 2 times what?
Four.
Second bracket, root 3 plus 4.
Oh,
And then?
This is plus 4 again.
No.
Would you need to put in the 6 somewhere?
Yeah, plus 6.
And then is that it?
Times second bracket again. So what would be step 1 for part A below?
Part A.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just 2 root 2
Mm-hmm.
in brackets root 3 add 4.
Part A. What's the second bracket?
Yes. That's 9.
So it's root 2 times second bracket.
I really don't get this at all.
It's exactly the same as multiplying a normal double bracket.
It's really confusing when there's so much stuff going on.
So first times the second bracket, and then second times second bracket. So the second bracket is written twice, and you're just distributing the first two things out. So it's like root 2 times that bracket and plus 9.
Plus 9 there.
So try B.
Root 2.
Mm-hmm.
And bracket root 5 minus root 2.
Yeah.
Plus root 3. In brackets root 5 minus root 2.
You've got it. And okay, let's continue with B. So let's expand these brackets. What do you get?
Oh, sorry. No, I won't see now.
We'll stay on B. So expand the bracket. What do you get?
Root 6.
How did you get root 6?
Root 10.
Yeah.
And then root 4.
And what is the square root of 4?
2.
And is that plus or minus?
Minus.
Yeah. Okay, second bracket.
Root 15.
Yeah.
Root 6.
And is that plus or minus?
Minus.
That's it. Got it. Any questions there?
No.
And okay, what would be step 1 for C?
You need to do root 5 and then bracket 4 minus 3 root 5
Mm-hmm.
and then 6 in bracket in bracket 4 minus 3 root 5.
That's it. And then you just expand the two brackets after that. Okay, exam question. Let's try it. So how do you expand these?
1
Mm-hmm.
and then bracket 3 minus root 2
Mm-hmm.
and then 3 minus
Plus root 2, and what was this, sorry?
3 minus root 2.
Well done. What's next?
Need to simplify.
Yeah. You expand them.
You just do, so it's 3
Mm-hmm.
minus root 2
Yeah.
and then root 6 add
Uh,
root 6.
That would be if this was root 3. This is just 3.
Oh, add 6.
Well, the other one is root 2.
No, the root 2 is
How? So it's basically root 2 times 3?
root 6. No, it's not root 6 though.
Root 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times root 2. What's the short way of writing that?
I don't know.
What's the short way of writing 3 times x?
3x. 3x.
3x. Short way of writing 3 times root 2?
6x.
No. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times root 2?
Um, 3x 2.
So you just write it without the time sign.
So just 3 root 2.
Yeah, 3 root 2. So this is exactly like expanding it with an x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times root 2, 3 root 2. And the last bit.
Six.
So it's minus. And what is root 2 times root 2?
2.
Yes. Can you make it even simpler?
I'm not good now.
So you can just move them around. 3 minus 2 plus 3 root 2 minus 1 root 2.
Ah.
So simplify.
Three minus 2 is 1.
Mm-hmm.
Add 3 is 4.
3 root 2 minus 1 root 2.
Oh, wait, so you do 2 times 2?
No. 3x minus 1x.
2x.
3 root 2 minus 1 root 2.
2 root 2.
That's it. It's exactly like x.
And then you've got 2 times 2.
You can't make that any simpler. 2x, you can't make any simpler. 2 root 2, can't make simpler. Because it's a normal number and a square root number. You can't combine them.
Yeah.
And it's just a shorter way of writing it. 1 plus 2 root 2. Okay, even trickier one. Try it.
Um, 2 root 5.
Yep.
Bracket 3 root 5 minus 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1 root 3. Sorry, 3 5.
Mm-hmm. What's next?
Need to put it all together, don't you?
Expand.
Um, 6.
Yep.
And then root 5 and root 5 is just 5.
Yep.
Minus, then you already comes minus 1.
You got to do what, sorry? Say it again, sorry?
Minus 6.
2 root 5 times minus 1?
No, I don't know.
2 root 5 times 1?
Root 5 times 1.
2 root 5 times 1?
1 root 5.
No. 2x? 2x times 1?
Isn't it just the same?
Yep. What is it?
2x times 1.
Yep. What's the answer?
So 2x.
2 root 5 times 1.
Two root 5.
Yep. And next bracket.
Three root 5 minus 1.
Well done. So we expanded and now simplify.
30.
Sorry?
30
Yep.
minus. Don't give to. I don't know.
This is like minus 2x plus 3x.
Minus. I don't know, to be honest.
What is minus 2x plus 3x?
Minus. Oh, sorry, 1x.
1x. So minus 2 root 5 plus 3 root 5?
1 root 5.
Yeah. And we had minus 1 at the end. Can you make it even simpler?
29 and 1 root 5.
Well done. And can you make 1 root 5 simpler?
Root 5.
Yeah.
29 root 5.
Well done. You got it. 29 plus root 5, or root 5 plus 29. Yes. Okay. So expanding surd, double surd brackets, x a half or tick.
Okay. Tech.
Well, we're touching upon grade 9 stuff. Expanding. No, that's grade 8. Double surd brackets. Yeah. How did you find that?
It was
James?
good. Yeah, it was helpful, but it was really hard.
Anything in particular you want to do next time we can finish this?
Yeah, that's fine then. I'll probably want to finish this so I can
Okay.
get more use.
And
Yeah.
then maybe standard form, then check standard form. Okay. Any questions from you?
No, not really.
Okay. Well done, James. You did great. Look forward to talking again next time.